Tell me what your life was like before you died.
When I was born 6 months, I was born 2 months early. I was taken cesarean section because my mother had toxemia. So when they cut my mother to take me out, I jumped up and threw my arms. Doctor says, I hope you're ready for this one. So that was, I believe that was a near-death experience. I was in an incubator for quite a while and before they could take me home. But at 14, I believe that first one at birth, I believe that was kind of my ability to choose whether to go or stay. I was a very, very lonely young fella. I was raised in East Central Indiana in 60s and 70s. I didn't realize it. I realized it at the time that I was actually growing up gay, and that was a lonely existence. And I met a friend who taught me to huff gasoline, and it was Memorial Day weekend, 1979, Sunday. I was huffing gasoline and had huffed for probably 2 hours straight. And I wasn't a smart child, but it was a way of coping. It was a way of escaping the reality of things. And I left my body. I went up and hovered above my body, and I was alone. And there was a voice that spoke to me and was coaxing me to let go. Just let go. Come with me. Let go. Everything will be fine. And it was like, this doesn't feel like a right voice. And I didn't trust it. I think it was lower energy trying to snuff me out because I'm here for a purpose. And then just then, my dad lifts the garage door and I was shoved back in my body instantaneously. He saved my life. He saved my life. So I was just hovering above my body, and I believe it's in that moment that experience is the experience that opened my gifts wide open. When I was first opening up, I had something lay down on the bed with me and whisper my name. But then that's when I was introduced to my first guide, is when that experience happened. Then I literally had this experience where my guide Crystal came in over top of me and said, this is a negative force. This is something that you need to resist. And it was at that point that my gifts really started to take off. Whenever I feel something like that, I immediately stop and I say, anything that cannot or will not walk in the light of Christ must depart now, and God bless you. Sometimes I have to actually pull away and go into a state of meditation. I had a situation last night where I had something trying to affect me as I was trying to go to sleep. And I'm just like, I had to rebuke 3 times, and then it stopped, and I was able to get a peaceful night's sleep. So it does happen, and I find that it happens most with me to try to prevent me from doing or achieving something that I'm trying to achieve for the good of the whole. I believe that we're always in the palm of the hand of God. I believe that we're always protected, but I believe that these little incidents like last night came to teach me something. You're never out of grace, but you're permitted to be challenged and tested for your own ability to grow and learn. At one point, I had another local psychic in my area, the Bay Area, who actually sent someone to do a 15-minute telephone reading with me so they could trash me on Yelp. And it was all taken out of context. It was all completely, totally misconstrued. I don't need to deal with this. Let it go. It gets hard, though, because sometimes you deal with difficult people and unbelievable situations. When it's over, I step away, I brush off, I ask for renewal, I cleanse, put it in perspective. I step back, do a brief meditation, focus on white light, golden light coming in through the top of my head, pushing all of that out, relinquishing all of that, letting it go in God's name, light of God. I was so devout in my love of God and my love of Christ, and I really devoted myself to the Christian faith. And about 3.5 years in, I started to see holes in the faith. My foundation is in Christianity, and I have, it's the foundation upon which my gifts were centered. At 14, when when I gave my life to Christ, I was given multiple of the spiritual gifts right then and there on the spot. I think that was the grand poobah, opening the portal and really putting me in place to receive from Spirit. My greatest source of help and strength was my grandma Ruby. And she would always tell me, you have a very special mind. If you'll open it up and use it to its fullest potential, you've got great things to do. And she was my saving grace. She was my saving grace because I had no one. And I'm totally self-taught. I'm taught by Spirit. I let flow what needs to flow. In actuality, she had told me that when she was very little, 4 or 5 years old, when people would come to visit, she would come and lay her hand on their knee and prophesy. So literally, they started locking her up when people would come. So what ended up happening was she could feel and sense and receive, but she couldn't express anything that she got. I believe that in some way, a product of her, and in some small way, I'm helping do for her what she wasn't able. My first crackle in this was about 4th grade, so I guess I was around 10 years old. Somebody asked me, a classmate asked me in the reading section of the room, what I thought I was going to do for a living in my life. And I said, I believe that I have some special sensitivities, and maybe I'm a psychic. I don't know. But I think maybe I'm going to be like a psychic psychotherapist. I had a reading one time when I first started doing it for the public. I had 2 women in front of me, and I'm like, ladies, I keep smelling popcorn and tasting popcorn, and I feel like there's some significance of popcorn. And they're like, oh my God, we were just talking on the way over here about how much we love popcorn and that we're out and we have to stop at the store on the way home to get some. Well, that made all the difference in the world because now they know that I'm tuned in. One of the most powerful stories I have about clairaudience, the clear smell. My mom died in 2014, and I came home from work about a week and a half later, and a fox ran and jumped across the road in front of my car. And I'd never seen a fox in the wild before, and I'd never seen a fox fly like Rocky the Flying Squirrel. So it really stuck out. And when I got home, I said, Mom, I feel like that fox had something to do with you. And I looked it up in my Animal Speak book, and it said anyone with a totem of fox would have an obsession with their hair. Well, kind of tough. But then my mother, to the day she died, if someone rang the doorbell, she'd make sure her hair was in place. So I felt it was my mom, that this fox was a message from my mom. And then all of a sudden, my entire living room filled with the scent of Noxema. And that's my mother. And a few times before my dad passed away, he would tell me I woke up in the middle of the night and the room smelled like Noxema. So when Mom comes in, it's Noxema. When smell occurs, it's usually to me, it goes right into the soul. It's a deep, deep connection. Usually, I'm not big on seeing entities or spirits. It has happened. Feeling, clairaudience, I hear everything. Sometimes, somebody hasn't been in a relationship for 14 years and I've got ABBA above my head. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. I hear songs, I hear movie lines, I hear voices, I hear emotions, I sense emotions. I do see some, but feeling, hearing, and sensing is really my strongest. It's difficult to describe how you can feel somebody from the inside out. I am not big on getting names, addresses, phone numbers, lottery numbers, none of that. The way that I work is I'll ask someone, is there someone on the other side that you would like to connect with? And they say yes. And I say, may I have that person's name and may I know your relationship to them? When they give me the name and the relationship, I feel a vibrational tone go off in my heart. So then when that matching tone comes in and connects, I know that's the person, and then I start to emote and feel the messages and sensations that are supposed to be expressed. I'm unique in the way that I read tarot. I'm self-taught. I'm taught by Spirit. I'm unique in the way that I work in mediumship. That is a very important message to everyone, is everyone's gifts are absolutely unique. They're the same gifts, but they're unique for every person. I believe that it reverts back to your intention, because there's a passage in the Bible that says it's by your works that you're known. Before there's work, there has to be intention. So it's through the intention. I don't read cards and do mediumship to glorify the devil or any negative force. I do it to help people and to glorify God. I mean, I was given a prophecy at 14 that said, go forth and love my people in my name. That's what I do, is love God's people in God's name. And oddly, my French teacher in school was from Kentucky. So bonjour, bonjour class, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? But when I was in fourth grade, we were studying Europe, and the teacher said, okay, based on its position and based on what you know about France, what you think it would be like? And I described the steps up to Sacré-Cœur. And the teacher turns over a picture, and it's the steps up to Sacré-Cœur. And I'm very strong on spiritual truth and freedom. I'm more about the do's than the don'ts. And I think that I came in this time to experience this so that I could undo all the don'ts that I had been up against in my life and be more on the freedom of the do's, the doing of what is right. It's my hope that everyone finds their way, that everyone sees their direction, that everyone finds their love, their joy, their hope, their peace, and that they share it.